And welcome back to another episode of the Eurovision Kiki podcast. And we are going to be talking all about the first kickoff of 2025, which is going to be Montesong. But first, I thought we would kick us off with a little bit of Eurovision Song Contest updates and everything that's been happening since we last checked in.
What's been going on?
Yeah, so finally got our 37th country that is confirmed to participate, and I believe it was Albania that finally checked off the green check flag and said, yes, we are coming back. So thank you for that.
Get it together.
About time. Lada Niva did enough for them to say, okay, we'll do it again. Why not?
Sure.
But with that, we're already looking at 2026 as well. So
okay, can't we just wait for 2025 to actually happen?
No, because Netherlands.
Can we wait to know what songs are even going to be coming out of these countries that are talking about 2026? Like, they don't even know what they're sending this year yet. And but let's also happening next time.
But let's just also let's appreciate Netherlands for just wanting the spotlight to be on them for multiple reasons this week. Number one, they decided that they will be the first country to announce that they are in for 2026. And then number two, they vague post that they're pretty sure that of the songs going into 2025, they have the winner without actually telling us what song it is that is the winner.
That headline cracked me up. Like, it's like, we have a song that we're competing in Eurovision that could win Eurovision. It's like, yeah, that's literally what all of us are doing.
Right. That's every country participating.
It's like 2005 Facebook vague posting at its finest.
Yeah.
Thanks, Netherlands.
Competing in a song contest. Pretty sure I'm going to win. Great. Stay tuned. So all of that is happening. Meanwhile, little bit of a stir up as well going on with Israel, which we can dissect a little bit in that possibly not going into 2025, potentially 2026, or maybe 2025, but there's discussion that their current Israeli broadcasting network is either going to be bought out or they're pulling out, which would stir up their eligibility for participation in the Eurovision Song Contest. And I know that there's a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions going on with Israel's current participation in Eurovision as it is. So just reading through a lot of comments on social media right now, there's a lot.
Those have got to be rough because, social media.
Yeah. So that happened this week as well. So if we'll just leave it at that. How about that one?
Let's put that one away now.
Meanwhile, you've got Baby Lasagna, who's out there with new music as well, with Catch Me If You Can, which I'm here for. It's a little bit different than, Biggie Biggie Boom, vastly different than And I.
So it might actually be good, is what you're saying?
It's bop-ish.
Shots fired.
It's a bop for me, but I know the man can do no wrong in my eyes.
Clearly.
But I'm trying to understand if it really was his actual wedding or not. So I'm trying to figure out if we have just been punked or if we really were all witnessed to his real life wedding. And nobody seems to be able to confirm anything. And he's not easing up on it. So another TBD if he is or is not, in fact, married to his lady. So that's out there as well.
Please tell us. We're all waiting with bated breath to find out if Baby Lasagna got married.
No, I'm just going to continue to segue over to Isaac's Instagram and watch his videos for SOS. Those are what's keeping me going these days.
Can't.
It's the modern day Rickroll.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. I got there. I'm old. Sorry.
It's okay. It's a Sunday night, so we're not used to late night recordings. It's okay.
Late night at 6 p.m. You guys, I know that the sun is down, but late night, girl.
Hey, it's winter. There's no sun.
There's no sun. There's normally a sleepy time tea happening right now, and so I've had to pause before that happens. So,
jeez.
Tell me you're old without telling me.
Celestial Seasonings is calling me.
So you're joining the cult
Eurovision
then?
Kiki, sponsored by Celestial Seasonings.
Oh,
Definitely
no,
not.
we're not doing the
Nope,
cult.
Definitely
We're
not.
not doing the cult.
Definitely not sponsored by them.
No.
But we could be. If you hear the
No.
Celestial Seasonings,
No.
give us a call.
No.
One of
They
these
will make us
days.
join the cult. I'm not doing that.
Does the
Jams
cult
and
pay
jelly.
well?
No, it pays in jams and
Never.
jelly.
When was the last time you heard of a cult that paid well? Come on, be so
Depends
serious.
how much into the cult you're on. I'm just saying.
And we would not be the leaders because that's already been established.
Well, in that case, I'm out.
Unless we're with that Moldovan guy. Anyways.
That one doesn't need to pay well.
Note,
that one does not pay out, no.
And it doesn't need to. I'd be fine either way.
Oh, Lord. This quickly fell off the rails. And so maybe
has
we
this
should try
podcast
and
ever been
bring it
on the
back
rails
on.
is my question.
Sometimes.
Have we ever been on the rails?
Sometimes we try.
We tried at the very beginning. And
we
then
sure did.
And then we were just kind of like, you know what? We're just going to let it go every episode.
It's
and
more
that's
fun
okay.
to be unhinged.
It's true.
That's how I live my life. That's my life motto.
So Montesong is the first of the 37 countries that will be kicking us off into the 2025 Eurovision Song Contest season, really.
And I am a firm believer that the reason they're doing that is because they need to be talked about at some point, and this is the only time it's going to happen.
It's true. So, Doug, we have 16 song entries that are going to be competing on the 27th of November. So we're like 6 days away at the time of this recording.
What?
Isn't it on the...
It's the 24th, sweetie. Do you know how to math?
Okay, we're going to edit this. We're going to... Oh, shit.
No, we're not.
We're going to edit this one
out.
We're
not. No, we're not. I love it. No, we're not. It's the 24th. It's the and it's on the 27th. A full 6 days away, obviously.
I totally thought it was coming up on I thought it was a Saturday. Wow.
So for those who are interested in watching Montesong, it is taking place on Wednesday, the 27th. And it is happening at, what is that, like 8 o'clock CET, which let's do some time zones. And for those of us in the Pacific, that's 11 a.m. For those in the Mountain Time, that is noon. And everybody else, figure out your time zones. It's going to be wild. So it's happening in the middle of the week.
Not a Saturday.
And the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the day, depending on where you are. So we have 16 songs, Stephen, as you mentioned. Now, before we got to the 16 songs, they opened up their submission window. Their submission window was pretty small. I don't have the exact dates of when the submission window opened, but I know that the submission window closed on October 1st. And when they closed it, they had 32 applications. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because it's a very small number. In contrast, there were 225 applications for Croatia's, 331 submitted for Netherlands. So that's slim pickings, one might say.
They cut it down by half, and here we are.
It's almost like, I mean, that means you had like 50% chance of actually getting to play your song for people to hear,
which is pretty good.
And if you're a new artist, upcoming artist, like, hey, that's fantastic for you.
Yeah.
Weren't a handful of those also automatically just cut because they didn't meet some of the very specific qualifications, which was no more than 3 minutes and more than half of the song had to be sang or performed in the native language, and they couldn't even abide by that.
I feel like I heard something about that, yeah.
So some of them just couldn't abide by basic guidelines, and therefore were automatic removals.
The last article I saw was that the organizers admit that the application deadline was short, and they hope that the selection committee will recognize the potential in the demo recordings, which can be shaped into quality arrangements. As in, like, ooh, girl, this is rough, but maybe you can pull it together.
Oof.
Good lessons
That was the
learned.
translation.
That's some good lessons learned right there.
So once the window closed October 10th, it says the finalists will have the opportunity to further improve their compositions until November 1st. So now they have to have those solidified. Those are what they posted to the YouTube channel. That's what the three of us listened to. And so maybe we
So
talk
we
about
got
some of
the
these songs.
improved ones.
I think so.
Yes.
Kate. Ooh,
Ugh.
Kate. The shade.
But
Ooh.
also accurate. Let's just be frank. It
On some of them, especially for me.
on yeah. Let's be honest. I'm not necessarily looking forward to watching Montesong, but I'm also going in with a very open mind because
Keep an open mind.
there could be some that just end up blowing me away and being better live. Maybe. I don't know.
At this point, you have heard the instrumental, you've heard the vocals, you've heard the beat, all that stuff. Now we need to get that staging. How are you interacting? What are you dressing like? You know, there's a few other things that are going to come into play. That's something that just didn't speak to you is now going to be like, oh wow, thank you for pulling that together. That was awesome. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm genuinely hoping for.
Yeah, there were a few that I wrote in my notes about them. Was like, I'm interested to see what they do with staging because there was enough that if you really staged it well, performed it well, I could be on board.
Yeah. Now, as we jump into some of these that we're about to talk about, disclaimer, we're about to slaughter a lot of these artists' names and a lot of these song titles. So just
we do
buckle
not
up.
speak Montenegrin.
Yeah.
I think my two sweeping things to say, I don't think Montenegro is going to win Eurovision.
You heard it here first, folks. Katie does
I know.
not think Montenegro is
You come here for these really, really professional opinions. And then also I think, are they okay? There was so many really sad, a lot of really moody, they seem like they're going through it, which I get, but it does seem like they're going through it.
Took the
So we
words
should
right
check
out of
on
my
them.
mouth. Yeah.
So anyway, those are my two big overarching before we dive into each individual song. Those are just my initial after hearing all of them feedback.
Maybe we need to look into Montenegro politics and just be like, what are we going through here, guys? Tell us what's up.
So Katie, what's the first one that you want to talk about?
Oh man. Let's just start with Tina Zankage with her song Nova.
Okay.
Which means new. That's the translation.
Okay.
All right. I was actually, this one for me, this is what I took away from it. And I'm just going to spit out what I wrote here. I said,
do it.
I could see this go one of two ways, either really good or really bad. If she can capture the audience, I could see this as a top performer. Possible winner, ? I don't think so, but there's potential here. I need to see Tina perform this live to have final decisions. It's giving disco.
I said
the same
it's
thing.
giving disco, it's giving elevator music. Because some of the instrumentation in the back, I was just like, what are we doing? What is some of this? And I thought, it feels throwbacky, but not in a cool modern throwback way. In it feels like an old song. Yeah.
I feel like when you're using throwback, you're trying to be nice about it, but no, this feels dated.
But I think Chapel Roan sounds pretty 80s-ish, but a very modern spin on it. And there's just none of the modern spin on it for me.
Right.
Which is why I was like, this can go one or two ways. Because when I think about the 16 songs in total, this has a much different feel than the majority of them, which is why I'm like, all right, they could throw the dart at this one because it's just so different than the other ones, and they're like, we don't want to be seen as like dark and gloomy, so we're gonna go disco.
Well, and I do think that Montenegro overall did a good job of saying we've got a little bit of everything going on. So like, let's see what the audience is into this year. We're not just going to give you one genre. So maybe that's how disco made its way into the top 16.
Maybe so. All right.
Possibly.
What's next? Doug?
Well, I will just we'll get it over with. Bend 9 with Stop War was a choice. I don't know if it was a good choice, and by that I mean wasn't a good choice.
Yeah, I just think it's so like funny when there's just like no subtext. Like, okay, good, come on out here, make a bold statement like stop war. Controversy.
What do you think they're talking about?
I know. I mean, it was kind of an easy no for me.
It was a hard no for me. Yes, it was semi nice to be like, oh, we've got heavy metal represented. But for me, it was almost like a boring heavy metal, and that seemed weird.
Shocking. Yeah.
And by a minute and a half in, I was just like, why is this song still going?
Skip.
Yep. I wrote, very confused because aren't there rules set forth by EBU that prohibit song entries that are about war and stuff like this? Didn't we just deal with this with Hurricane? We saw this.
They get away with it at their national finals, but if it won, it has to be reworked.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said. And then I said, if this is a little bit of like a Eurovision history as well, and I'm curious how people would perceive this, because we saw this in 2022 when Bulgaria got in a ton of trouble for pushing forward with their song entry, and the group that performed was Intelligent Music Project, and they came and presented and performed at Eurovision with their song Intention, which was a song all about sending boys and men to war, and we haven't seen them back since 2022. So, like, be careful, Montenegro.
However, I mean, was it Switzerland 2 years ago with Water Gun? That
Also, that
is a
little bit
very
more.
clear, that's a very clear,
Yeah.
like, war, anti-gun kind of statement.
Yeah.
So, you know, and
I feel
I
like
mean, they didn't win, so.
there's some fine. So
Some
yes,
fine lines.
fine lines being drawn here, similar to how you all are feeling. Though it's a flop for me. I'll be shocked if they select this song. I will be shocked. Also, not shocking. There's going to be pyrotechnics galore with this one.
Oh yeah,
So,
always when there's metal.
I just assume fire, pyrotechnics, the sparks, everything.
Yeah.
It's going to be. They need to cover up the song as best they can.
Yep.
Agreed. All right, Steven, which one's next?
Another just, and I said no, absolutely just no. Glumchi Bend with San, which is just very messy, unorganized. I actually listed this as like my last place. Like, this is going to be the last place because it's just, I could see them doing. Yeah.
And it was just like, it was all over the place, but it was never like up. No. I don't like, it just fell so flat. I wanted it to like break through. Like there was just something that I was just like below, like just.
I could also see them performing this off key and totally out of sync.
Yeah, I agree.
What you want to happen.
Just
shady.
It's giving messy.
I'm going to try and give a compliment in here. I did not mind when they weren't singing.
Oop.
I liked the like instrumental, the synth pop of it all. It's that time of year for me where I listen to Trans-Siberian Orchestra like all month. And so for me, it was kind of giving a little bit of that, in that I enjoy the parts when they weren't singing.
And I think that that's why it was disappointing that it fell flat to me, because I'm like, man, like the ingredients are somehow kind of there, but like you
The
didn't
delivery
bake a cake.
is,
Like
yeah.
you had the whole thing. What went wrong?
They didn't set the oven to 365.
Yeah, they just put the batter in a cold oven. So
And I do enjoy when we see groups, because we
yeah,
see a lot of individuals, lots of duos. So it was nice to have a group, but then you were like, oh, and then you totally let me down.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Back to you, Katie. What's another one?
Um, I want to talk about, I think it's Kate with Obala Raya. I think I liked it. I think it's like not my favorite song and wouldn't necessarily be something that I'd like listen to all the time on, you know, just my free time. But it was pleasant. It was enjoyable to listen to. I thought the build was slow, but I found personally that it paid off at the end.
Right. And I basically said the same thing. I said it takes a while to get going,
Mm-hmm.
but it had a decent beat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see it as my winner,
Yeah.
but I could see the audience, especially if the staging is very well done and she just belts it out. Like, this could have the potential to be in a top
Yeah.
half.
She's a gorgeous girl and really, really beautiful voice. So I was like, you've got like, this was one of the ones where I'm really curious to see how the staging comes together.
So, yes, I am in agreement with a lot of what the both of you said. I put her in my top 5. I also noted that this song sort of reminds me, it gives me a lot of LaDonna with Breathe from
Mm,
2022. That's what I get a
mhm,
little bit of like reminiscence of.
mhm.
And very similar to what you both said, she has a lot of potential, and I'm very curious to see how the public will like receive her. So
Agreed.
I
Mhm.
think if she can hold her own on stage and she can really draw the crowd, I think that she has strong potential to perform well. Will she be the top choice? I don't know, but she's up there for me.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Doug.
Okay, so this is going to be one that I don't want to do well, but I think it will do well. And it's Neon clickbait.
Okay.
I think it's cringy, um, because especially if you look at the translation of like the chorus, it says clickbait. I'm in the mood for hate. Clickbait. I'm never too late for clickbait. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. I'm taking you on a date if you share with me a good one. And I'm just
Hey.
like, ooh, that's,
Yeah, for this one, I just
don't
wrote
love that.
no smiley face.
But this is okay. So the reason I think it's going to do well is because of how easy it is to sing along to the chorus, where everybody can
Mm,
shout clickbait together. And that's what I'm worried that it could do well.
mm,
I hope it
interesting.
doesn't. But
Yeah,
I
I
put
can see
this
that. I just, yeah, it's no for me.
I put this one, this is literally the only one of all 16 that I actually categorized as That's So Eurovision, which I didn't think would come out of Montenegro, because reading those lyrics and kind of dissecting it a little bit, I'm curious if that's the staging that we're going to get as well. Is That's So Eurovision with a song like this. So I'm interested to see what happens with it, but I'm also very much on the fence with it. Am I going to like it, or am I going to find myself very cringe with it?
I tend to find that so Eurovision needs to be a little bit more positive for me. Like, I mean, like, I want to have a mustache. Like, I mean, there's no
Yes.
hate, there's no bad stuff. Like, it's just like
That's why I'm saying like this right now it gives cringe. And
big
so I'm
time.
like, that's so Eurovision, but like not in a fun way. So let's see what you do on stage.
The other thing that it has me wondering, like, what do they mean by clickbait in this situation? Because for me, clickbait is I see an article and you are trying to get me to read your article and you have to give me a catchy title. And I just didn't see the correlation between my definition of clickbait and what the lyrics that they were presenting.
I think based on the lyrics you just said, it's more like rage bait than clickbait. Where people who like will post videos doing something like intentionally infuriating just because then it gets more engagement, because people will be like, oh my god, you need to crack the eggs before you put it into that and not put the shell in it. And like then they just get a bunch of people commenting and it boosts it in the algorithm. So that's kind of how
Like they're
probably I
seeking
take
attention.
Yep.
Yeah,
For
especially
sure.
with I'm in the mood for some hate. Like, yeah, I'm gonna post something rage baity.
It's never too late. Clickbait, and it's a no for me.
Yeah, no.
Also a no.
All right, Steven, next song.
My next one that I'm going to go with is probably Bariak with their song Diva Skra. Anyway.
Translation, Two Hearts.
Okay, so there we go. Two Hearts. Definitely another rock category song for sure. What I really appreciated about this song, I liked that it's a 6-person band, and I really, really, really appreciated that they diversified the vocals and really allowed both male and female vocalists to perform throughout. But what I was concerned about is that there's a lot of that going on in a 3-minute period of time. So I'm wondering if they're giving us too much of that in such a short time span. And then I wrote as a side note, one of the guys in this band sort of is giving me Dylan from the current season of the Great British Baking Show. So there's that.
Okay.
So you're saying it's a winner?
So I'm saying bubble. I'm putting it on the bubble. I don't know.
Putting it on the bubble.
I'm putting it on the bubble.
This was one of the ones that I actually ended up looking up the English translation for, and like the two hearts but one home, and I was like, there's no way this is a love song, is it? Like, it does not sound like one. It is not like, I don't know. I like the song, but I just like, I'm like, maybe it's a mistranslation that I got that was trying, basically, like, I wouldn't have put those lyrics with this song if the English translation I looked up was correct.
A lot of
like
these
the
songs,
music accompaniment does not match the lyrics you wrote,
right,
or what we read.
Yeah.
As like a general, a lot of these songs, and it would not surprise me, whichever song ends up getting selected as the winner and the pick for Montenegro, wouldn't surprise me if an English version came out down the road. And was also
That's pretty common.
Yeah, it's pretty common, but also then was like what they ended up doing at Eurovision. But we are still months away from that one. So
yeah,
I enjoyed this song. To me, it's in the middle for me. The song takes you on a journey. It's got some ups and downs. I do feel like it dipped though when we switched to the next verse by the female singer. And so there's that period where I was like, all right, we have to like sort of rebuild this. And I sort of found myself going, where are we going? Are we going to get there by the end of the song? Like, I'm not sure it was strong enough transition, and it dipped, so it didn't have time to come back.
It's a short song, so it's hard to like. I think that goes with like what Steven was saying. Are they trying to do too much? And they really maybe could have benefited from like a 5-minute version of this song.
Right. But overall, I appreciated the rock.
I did too. All right, next
Where's
one.
you,
Let's talk about Anastasia Kolprochek. Something like that. Cry, I think is maybe how it's pronounced. I think the
translates
J's are pretty
end.
Okay.
Okay.
This was another one that I'm excited to see the staging for, because I thought her voice was really, really beautiful. And like it's really a lovely song, but it's one of those that like I can't call it a bop because it's sad and slow. But I enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to see that. I think they could do some really powerful stuff with the staging, that could kind of put it over the edge.
I do feel like the staging is going to make or break this because I have no idea what the English translation is, but I just feel her sadness in her song and her voice, and I think it really takes you somewhere. But I need to see how you're going to put that on the stage. Are you going to fill up the stage? And so I think this has some potential. I would put
I
this,
agree.
if I had to rank them, I would probably put this in my top 5.
I think I would too.
It's interesting to hear you both say that, and I agree with a lot of what the both of you are saying. I, however, just kind of I find her vocals extremely lovely. I find the instrumentals to be very dramatic as well. Do I think this will advance and be the selection for Eurovision? No, I put this somewhere in the middle as well. It's just, to me, it's nothing groundbreaking, and it's also not anything that I find super outstanding. It's just it was a song to me that just kind of floated somewhere in the middle. And I don't know, I recognize that I'm kind of like looking at some of the like aesthetics of these artists as well, just from like what's being shown to me visually on YouTube. And to me, she just looks the youngest out of all of the artists that are performing. So to me, I'm like, you're talking about some deep shit here, and you seem too young to like know what's going on. But again, I don't know I don't know her life story, so that's why I'm like, I need to like dial it back a little bit. But like, I could be completely wrong as well. So
Yeah, and I'm not saying that this is going to be like a top 5 finisher in Eurovision,
yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if it won Montesong.
I will say that I appreciate the ballads of Montesong. And so that's going to take us right into the next one I want to talk about, which is Durda to Juavje. That's love. That's the translation. I just thought it was a beautiful ballad, but can it break through? So for me, I worry about her ability to not get lost on the stage, just as I have a fear of any ballad that goes up. I almost feel like ballads have an extra hurdle to overcome.
I agree.
In order to capture your attention. So I do hope that she does well. Honestly, this is my top song.
Interesting.
Okay.
I enjoyed it so much. I was like, I need to go find out some more about her. I found out that she's 41 years old, and that she did an interview and said, I really enjoy watching Eurovision. Last year, I was especially impressed by Croatia and France. Through the winning performance and song were amazing as well. For me, ABBA is still number one, and out of newer Eurovision artists, I would definitely say Joker out from Slovenia. So everything about that, I was like, love.
Okay, yeah, that's great. For me, it's something, maybe it's the time of year. I don't know. I couldn't shake the fact that like I wanted this to be a Christmas song. Like it just struck me as like a Christmas song. I don't know how else to describe it or how to be more specific with it, but I just, like I said, maybe it's just that it's late November and we're getting there, but yeah, something about just the composition of it made me want it to be Christmas.
I might have to go back and like re-listen to it now that you've given me some more backstory about her, because I've listened to it a couple of times, and every time I go back, I try to write more just like quick reflections about each one of these songs. And I literally only had like 2 notes from her, which was just like, nice voice, nice song, but I don't really think much more other than that. And then just wrote, hope she does well.
Yeah.
So now
Not
now
really
that I
my
know,
thing, but yeah.
but now that like you've given a little bit of backstory and her love for Croatia and Carpe Diem, I've fallen in love with her just a little bit more. So I might have to like give her a little bit more extra love now, just based off of that.
There you go.
Just to add a little context, I do want to read another quote that she said from an interview. where she talks about the song itself, and she says it tells the story of two different kinds of love: the toxic kind, which causes restlessness and unease even when it ends, keeping you its slave in a way, and then there's true love, which nurtures us, helps us grow, and embraces us in a unique, beautiful way. True love teaches us to be ourselves, unique and authentic. Such loves are rare but powerful and last forever. This song is very gentle and emotional, and I hope it reaches the listeners' hearts.
Okay.
Again, that just describes a Christmas song, but you know.
Throw some jingle bells on the end, and we got a winner.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not really my thing, but again, one of those like,
Okay.
I hope she does well.
Yeah.
It
I
seems nice.
too hope she does well.
Yeah. All right, Steven.
All right. I will go ahead and just throw this one out here because I think we need just a little bit of comic relief, and that is going to be Isaac Sabanovic with Leto, which I think is Montenegrin for Summer, Summer, Summer. It is. And this one's more of like a rock. I put this in like a rock popish sort of category. So that one I gave a bop to. I said I can get behind this one. And that's literally all I critiqued it on the song front. And then I just wrote physically, woof daddy, yeah, spare. Totally would let him fuck up my credit score. I know that doesn't give him any bonus points, but that's just me. And here at the Eurovision Kiki, that counts for something.
Counts for something. Sure.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I don't even know what
For
to
those
say
listening, we all just rolled our eyes very heavily.
Yeah, that one's going on the social media.
That's
I think it's
going on. That's the reels. There's your
I mean, the song was okay, but like Voyager called, they want their singer back. That's
okay.
it sounds
I
just
said-
like him.
I said this one is one that I could see growing on me. Like if it does make it to Eurovision, I could see it being one of the ones where like on the initial playlist and listen through, I'm like, no. And then I keep listening and I'm like, okay, damn it, it's going on the playlist.
When the Stockholm syndrome finally sets in, you're like, oh,
yeah,
it's a great
which
song.
it does every year. So I put this in the category of like initial reaction, but I could see it.
Casey,
this is going to be Casey's bop.
Yep.
Yeah. I should have made him listen to this one because I'm sure. I mean,
It's
if only because it's a little Voyager reminiscent, and that man will defend Voyager until the day he is dead and cold in the grave.
So
this is going to be his song.
Absolutely.
Without knowing the translation, it just feels fun, light. It's got a fun beat. Now, Of course, I'm going to read the translation. It's going to be like something like totally deep and heavy. But from the outside in, it feels fun.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about my pick. What I think is going to win is Scorpia by Milena Vucic. Whatever.
We'll go with it. Yeah.
Which translates to scorpion.
Shocker.
I thought so.
I really enjoyed it. I thought her voice was really good. It was like had some rock influences, but had more of like a fun pop beat. And I just think that this has the ingredients to go to Eurovision.
Yes. Yes. This is in my top two. Like, obviously, I talked about the ballad earlier, but this is my other one that I really enjoyed. It had a great beat. I felt like it told a story. I went and looked up the translation, and she just talks about like I ignite a fire without flint. Mine flows through your veins. Give me a tour to the end. Melt the ice in the glass. And then she kind of goes into the chorus of like, my look is a sin and I'm sweet like honey. I want to turn your world upside down, but I won't.
Okay.
I love it. I love that. Yeah. I think this is my pick. So I really liked it.
Nice. I also put bop ! Similar to what you both said. We need an English version. If it qualifies to Eurovision, I want an English version. Love the beat. And then I just wrote does it translate to Scorpion? But we've confirmed that, so I can just
It is confirmed.
I can just remove that from my notes.
Just a little background is that she is 38 and a former member of a band who did try out for Eurosong back in 2004 and has had several singles over the years. So unlike some of these artists where you can't find anything on the internet about them, we can at least see that she's been around for some time and maybe has honed the craft a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems
So
like
I
maybe
would like
someone who kind of like has enough of an idea of like what it takes.
Yeah. I would like to see that one do well.
Me too.
All right. Dougie.
I'll mention Nina Sizik, Dobra Dosli, which means welcome. She was a previous Eurovision performer back in 2013, representing Montenegro, with a song Igranka, Igranka, with a hip. Like she participated with a hip hop duo. They didn't qualify for the finals. So they did their best. They came in 12th in their semifinal. So she's been to the Eurovision stage. So I don't know if that's a pro or a con. But I did enjoy her vocal. I thought she took us on a journey. I'm very, very interested to see how this stage performance goes. So, yeah.
And I thought, which one did we talk about earlier? That was like had a slow build, but paid off. That was Kate. I thought this one was a slow build. And the end of the song. I just didn't think there was a payoff to it. Like it was just like, okay.
Like it was just over. Like,
yeah.
Are we sure this? Did you get to 3 minutes and you're just like, crap?
Yeah. I mean, and that kind of is like what it felt like, where it was like, oh, time's up.
I actually wrote a strong one for sure. I see this one as a possible contender for the win. I'm going to say top 3. Her live performance, though, has to be solid. I'm looking forward to her live performance to see if she wins me over completely. Because I believe vocally it's there, but I need to see it live. If she can bring it on the stage, I think she can win the crowd over. I also believe that placement for her out of all 16 will matter. Because if she's too early, she's going to be forgotten. If she's later on, I think she'll be memorable.
I believe I was reviewing these in the order that they are going to perform. And if that is true, she is towards the end.
So I think that'll help her. There's just something about it when I think about past years of Montenegro performing. This has, if this is what they stay consistent with, this has the formula to qualify. And that's where I'm looking at it through that lens. But again, they might be looking for something different this year. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. What's your next song, Steven?
I'm going to go with my actual top pick, which might shock people, but it's Tamra Zivkovic, and it's Paguban Let, which is actually my top pick.
Which stands for A Doomed Flight. A Doomed Flight.
A Doomed Flight, yes. To me, is my top pick. I think she's going to be the one to beat. I felt her vocals are extremely strong, although it is a slow song. But I think she'll be the one that ends up being selected just based off of the 16 songs I listened to. It was the one that I flocked to the most. I felt the instrumentals were extremely strong. And I think if she can kind of bring it all in together with the staging, I think if she can really bring the crowd in with her live performance, I think that she has an extremely strong chance of representing Montenegro for Eurovision 2025, in my opinion.
And for this one, I kind of had the same feedback as you had for the last one, which was if she's not really strong on stage, and towards the end, she's going to get lost.
Interesting.
I didn't think it was a strong enough performance, strong enough vocals, strong enough anything to like stand out. If she's 1 or 2, I don't think she's making it.
Okay.
I trust that this needs a re-listen because for me, I just wrote feels forgettable. It didn't do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't curious about the translation. I wasn't curious about the story. I didn't need to know more. So maybe there's something that you saw, Stephen, that I need to trust your instincts and go back and check it out again.
No, I mean, I kind of felt the same way. Like it was.
We shall see.
I'm surprised that it's your top choice, Stephen. To be perfectly honest,
That's fair. Yeah.
This was in my so I color coded mine. This was red at the bottom.
Okay.
This was down there with Stop War. Like,
oh no,
sorry.
Don't apologize.
But this is the fun part where we will on Wednesday find out where they placed, and then you can come back and tell us I told you so.
Yeah.
Not 6 days from this recording, so it's fine.
Just
all right, we're almost through these songs, so I'll do one that I had the shortest response to, which was Nemanja Petrovic with Meadow Zvijdama.
Great job.
The stars.
And I said no.
That's it.
That's all I said.
The end.
No.
I mean, you're not wrong. I wrote there's a sad undertone behind it. Will this draw a crowd? Probably not. If his voice is strong, maybe, but doubtful.
Yeah, I just couldn't even think of that much to say.
It's just not compelling, and I preferred when there was no singing. Like the instrumental portion was good. Okay. I do feel like a lot of these songs I really enjoy the background. I just don't want you to sing over it, please.
Yeah, I did have a note on a few of these where I'm like, I don't know if it's like a Balkan thing or like an Eastern European thing. There's just like a quality to the vocals on a lot of them that I don't love, and maybe it's just like a cultural mismatch. So I agree that I preferred a lot of them instrumentally.
Verica Kuljokovic and Kuljas Lee, and it stands for Do You Hear It? And the problem was, yes, I did. There's slow, and then there's
Dirge.
Slow.
Yeah.
No.
I said this was a mismatch because it felt classical without it being classical. And like if you just went for a full opera, you could maybe pull it off. But yeah.
It says that she plays the violin, and in the song, we hear a violin. So I'm like, are you going to go like full Moldova and just play a violin on stage by yourself?
Play a violin.
Well, yes.
Because we know they can't play live music. I mean, maybe in Montesong they can.
But this is where I'm like, if you just give me you standing up there with a violin, we know how that goes.
Not well. So. I just wrote too polished. Big fat N-O. No.
It's a no from us.
That's a big no.
All right. 2 more. Which one are you going to do, Steven?
I'm going to do Luka Radovic with Kata Dojimaj, which I just put...
When May Comes.
When May Comes. And I just said, okay, 2024 Azerbaijan, because it's giving me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm interested to know if an English version were to come out, if I would like it more. And I will say I like his vocals, but it's another one that just gets lost in the mix of songs that we've got going on here, that to me, I don't see this one as a contender,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I said not my favorite, but like also wouldn't be mad if it did really well. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I wouldn't be offended.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset if it did well, but I just think that a lot of songs build into something, and I felt that the song sort of petered out and didn't have momentum for me.
Yeah,
so
that's totally
it was
fair.
just a
Yep.
And then last but not least, we have Dolce Hera with Repeat,
which stands for repeat.
Thank goodness for you.
Thank you for the
You're
translation.
For this one, I said it feels like a pop song for a movie. Like in like Trap or something where they have a pop star fully invented for the movie. Like it feels like a song that they would perform. Like not a real song, a movie pop song, which I also said was very forgettable.
That's
The
interesting.
chorus felt catchy for me, so at least it had that going for it.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I just went, it's okay.
Yeah.
I spent the time listening to that song, just seeing who she was and what she was about, instead of actually listening to her song. And she dubs herself the first professional drum lady of Montenegro music.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a title I don't know what that means. Two, is that a good thing? Is that a title? Is that like giving yourself a nickname?
Yeah. Oh, ouch.
Well, so I'll just start with like the obvious for me. It's a flop. I get jazz vibes. That's what I put. I said jazz vibes. And then I will be extremely surprised if this song does get selected. But I will also be even more surprised if this song actually ranks high of all of the songs. And then again, aesthetically, she reminds me of that actress from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Stephanie Beatrice. She kind of looks like her, which like is cool. And then I don't know, like she's also like recently on that new Netflix show with Ted Danson, like Man on the Inside. I don't know if either of you have started watching that one, but like she's in that. That's as an aside. It's a flop. Not the show, this song.
Gotcha.
The song.
Yeah.
That show is cute. But this song, no. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there is well, I was about to do a Eurovision news headline. One of these songs is going to win Montesong.
That's the thing. Like, not only will one of these songs win Montesong, one of these songs will jumpstart the 2025 Eurovision Song Contest playlist.
Yeah.
That's the wild part.
One of these songs you will hear over and over again for the next
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. For better or for worse.
Right. And when it's clickbait, we just leave it off the playlist.
It'll be your bathroom break during the live show.
Yeah.
Sorry, clickbait. And anybody listening who likes that song.
Yeah, it's not good. So, but I think, I mean, we ran down all 16.
I'm excited to watch it. Technically, this is officially my first national finals that I've ever watched.
Same.
So let's make it a good one. And I'm excited to see our predictions in action and then come back at our next episode and be able to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the debrief in our next episode, some takeaways and thoughts on how we thought the outcome and results went down. So thank you all for listening and stay tuned for our next episode. As always, to Katie and Doug, love the commentary and love everybody's thoughts on this round of songs that we've got going on. To our listeners and to those that support us, thank you as always. Be sure to like and subscribe to all of our content. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify at Eurovision Kiki. You may have questions one day as you're getting more and more entrenched in all things Eurovision. So by all means, feel free to email any questions that you may have to us at eurovisionkiki@gmail.com. Thank you, as always, for all of your constant love and support. We appreciate it. And we will see you all at our next Kiki. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.